A Dharma talk, inspired by the Buddha's teaching, expanded into a full reflection. Setting. A quiet afternoon at the Bamboo Grove Monastery. Truk Lum Tinsa. It was a quiet late afternoon. The golden sunlight slanted gently through the bamboo grove behind the Truk Lum Monastery. Far in the distance, the city of Rajagaha faded into a soft blue mist. In the inner courtyard, under a Bodhi tree beside a lotus pond, the Blessed One sat in meditation, still and serene. The wind stirred the leaves softly. The entire world seemed to hold its breath. As the Buddha emerged from his meditation, two young monks approached and bowed. Their eyes carried a trace of unease. They had just engaged in a heated debate about the meaning of a sutra. Each believed he was right, each sought confirmation. The Buddha looked at them with compassion and gently spoke. "My children, the wise do not contend over winning or losing. 2. Why don't the wise argue over right and wrong? 1. Because the wise have no attachment to ego. Ordinary people argue because they are defending their self. I am smarter, I am more correct, I know more than you. But those who possess true wisdom see through the illusion of self. There is no longer a me that needs to be right, no one to defeat, no victory to claim. They understand that arguing doesn't make truth any greater, it only inflates the ego. 2. Because the wise perceive impermanence. What is right today may be wrong tomorrow. What is gained now may be lost the next moment. One may win an argument, but lose peace. The wise see the fleeting nature of such things and choose silence over noise, compassion over correctness. 3. Because the wise feel no need to prove anything. There is a kind of wisdom that speaks through silence. The more one knows, the less one needs to proclaim. Truth doesn't shout, it simply shines, like the scent of a lotus flower, soft, steady, and unmistakable. 3. Story, the lotus that did not compete once. A lotus bloomed in a muddy pond. Around it grew wild grass, which mocked the lotus. Why do people admire you? I'm green too. I grow too. Why do they ignore me? The lotus didn't respond. Every morning it quietly opened, giving fragrance to the wind. The grass grew louder in jealousy, but the lotus remained still. One day, a monk passed by, plucked the lotus, and placed it on the Buddha's altar. The grass whispered in shame. The lotus didn't compete, and yet it was chosen. It was the quiet beauty that made it worthy. So it is with the wise. They do not seek attention, but their presence speaks louder than noise. 4. The wise know that victory and defeat are both forms of suffering. To win is to fear losing. To lose is to dwell in pain. To gain breeds pride. To lose brings sorrow. The wise step out of this cycle entirely. They work without seeking praise. They speak without needing agreement. They give without expecting thanks. They yield without feeling loss. Because their joy does not come from being right, but from not being bound by the need to win. Applying non-contention in daily life. When misunderstood, don't rush to defend. Time will prove your sincerity. When criticized, the wise do not need to explain to the blind what light is. Explaining often only brings more pain. When others succeed, learn, don't envy. Envy makes you small. Learning helps you grow. When provoked, remember, fire needs wind to spread. Without your response, conflict dies. 6. Closing reflection. Non-contention is inner strength. To not argue is not weakness. It is strength that no longer needs to prove itself. To stay silent is not ignorance. It is knowing that truth doesn't need noise to be true. The wise walk silently through life, like a scent on the breeze, not loud but unforgettable. Final insight. Fools argue because they believe they will gain. The wise do not argue because they know letting go is gaining everything.